The costume designer has the hardest design job in the show. Not only do they have to create a unified look for their design that works with the production concept, each costume has to have its own reasons for existing the way that it does, because each costume has to suit that specific character in that specific moment of the play. Think about what you wear. What makes you choose an article of clothing? Clothing is incredibly personal and it reveals information about who we are and what we do. We size people up according to their appearance. The costume designer has to use the same principle to make us know who a character is when they step on stage. So, what should a good costume do? There are 5 basic things here. First, unless they have to be naked for the play, and that does happen sometimes, the costume designer's basic job is to give them clothing for the show. Beyond that, they define the character visually, give the costume design what the script calls for and what the director wants. Helps the actor find their character and helps to control where the audience looks. Let's look at these in more depth. So how do costumes define a character visually? Clothing communicates a ton of information. So what are some things costumes need to say? Let's take a look. The first thing it can do is set the character in a specific time period. More so than scenery, it communicates time period very effectively. Look at that handsome boy. Whatever happened? Approximate age and gender. Look at the cut and color of the clothing, the makeup that they're wearing. They tell age. The type of clothing can also give you a clue about gender.
Just like with scenery, costumes can let us know where the characters stand in terms of money and social status. Look at colors, textures, lines. Jean Valjean here is clearly in a lower social status at the moment than Javert and the soldier here who's roughing him up. Costumes can also give us a clue in the audience as to a character's personality. What do you think Thomas Jefferson is like here from Hamilton based off of his clothing alone? Costumes can also let us know about any changes to the character over the course of the play. And mostly these deal with the things we were just talking about. But we can see in these photos here changes that have happened to Hamilton over the course of the play, both in age and status.
As with scenery and lighting, they have to give what the script and director requires. It has to answer the logistical needs of the script. How many costume changes will a character go through? And who's the most important in a given scene? And it still needs to work with the director's overall vision. And for many actors, putting on their costume at first dress is an awesome experience. And it's often like putting icing on the cake for them. It doesn't work for every actor, but it often helps actors tie everything together. And a good costume design will help control the audience focus. It'll work together with blocking and lighting to let you know where you ought to be looking.
Finally, a costume designer does many of the same things as the set designer to communicate their ideas. They do sketches and renderings. But their renderings look a little bit different, as you can see. Often, costume rendering will include a fabric swatch with it, and this is just a sample of the fabric that the costume will be made out of to give the director a very tangible understanding of what it's going to look and feel like. Also, the costume chart tracks the color and texture of each costume on stage in each scene. All of this helps to let the director and the other members of the creative team know what the design will look like from scene to scene.